You'll never see the world like you did when you were a kid. And I think about that a lot. Like, how did we go from waking up every single day, feeling like life was this giant playground, to now, always feeling like something's missing, even when we have so much more than we did back then? When I was a kid, I could pick up any game, literally any random game, and I'd get lost in it for hours. I didn't care about graphics, and I didn't care about if it was popular. I didn't care about thinking if it was the best use of my time. I'd just play it, and it was more than enough. I'd run around outside and I'd make up stories in my head, or I'd build a whole world in Minecraft with no real goal except to build stuff and have fun. And somehow, that made me feel free. But now, it's like no game is fun for more than 20 minutes. I'll scroll through my Steam library or Game Pass or whatever, looking for that one thing that'll give me that spark again. But nothing hits the same, and I think we all can relate to this, and we see a lot of people online that can relate to this. And it's not just games, it's life in general. We're always waiting for the next thing to make us feel something. The next big goal or the next big distraction or the next upgrade. It's weird because as we grow up, we start thinking that happiness is tied to all these things. These big ultimate purposes. And we tell ourselves that once I get enough money, then I'll feel secure. Or once I get a girlfriend or get ripped or travel the world, then I'll feel alive again. We chase all these ideas of what freedom and happiness are supposed to look like. But the weirdest thing is, no matter what you get, there's always a part of you that wants to go back. Back to when you were a kid and you had literally nothing. No money, no car, no real independence, but you just felt free. And I'm not saying life as a kid was perfect, obviously, but it's crazy how many people I know, myself included, who could have a good job, decent money, fun plans on the weekend, maybe even the attention that they've always wanted. But deep down, they still feel empty in a way that they didn't back then. For me, one of the biggest wake-ups was realizing how much I obsessed over stuff that I didn't even care about when I was a kid. Like now, I can waste hours of my life comparing my life to other people's, scrolling through those highlights, or watching other people travel, party, show off stupid things that they have. Meanwhile, when I was a kid, the only thing that mattered was what are we going to do today? And then we just did it. I didn't care what anyone thought. And sometimes I think about how as a kid I'd be stoked just going outside with my friends or riding bikes for hours or playing split-screen games with your friends until the sun came up. There was no pressure to be productive or level up or hustle harder. You just existed, and that was enough. And yeah, of course, we can't be kids forever, and we shouldn't be. We have real responsibilities now. There's meaning in having obligations or having purpose and building something that matters. But what that childhood freedom shows us is that happiness isn't just about what we think we want. The money, the relationships, the big milestones. Because even when we get those, that empty feeling doesn't always go away. It shows us that maybe happiness isn't about making the most of what's in front of us, instead of constantly chasing something that's out of reach. As kids, we didn't have much, but we made so much out of it. An empty backyard was a whole universe. A cheap game was an adventure. A Saturday with nothing planned felt like the greatest thing ever. And now, we can be surrounded by every possible thing to do, millions of videos, endless games, all the technology in the world, and we're still bored out of our minds. We still feel trapped in our own heads and worrying about the next thing. And I think it comes down to this. Kids live in the moment, and we hear that we should live in the moment a lot, but when it comes to a comparison to our child self, we weren't carrying around a highlight reel of regrets and missed opportunities and all the pressure to be something more. We just did what was in front of us, and that was it, and that was our whole world. Meanwhile, we're older now, so we overthink. We wonder if we're behind or if we're good enough, or if we're ever going to get that thing that finally makes us feel free again. But the catch is, freedom and happiness probably aren't on the other side of some goal. They're in the way we look at what we already have. Like if you look back at your best childhood moments, there was never some grand master plan. It was just small stuff. Moments you were fully there, laughing, exploring, using your imagination. And I don't think we ever really lose that part of us. It just gets buried under all the stuff we think we need to be happy. So yeah, sometimes I really do miss the way I saw the world before I knew too much about it. Before I cared about money, status, distractions, what people thought of me. I just woke up and did what felt fun. And it's kind of sad, but also a good reminder that maybe there's more freedom left than we think. We just have to remember how to see it again. So here's the thing. We're never going to feel exactly how we did when we were kids. And I think you have to be honest with yourself about that. Like, there's no point pretending like you're suddenly going to stop caring about money, or stop wanting to build a better life, or stop wanting love or family or status or whatever else you dream about. When we were kids, we didn't think about those things because we didn't even know that they existed yet. Now we do. So of course we're going to chase financial freedom, or of course we're going to want relationships and deep connections, and maybe one day a family. Of course we're going to care about building something meaningful, because deep down, we know that we're supposed to do something with the life that we've been given. And honestly, that's a good thing. I think if you did nothing all day, like literally nothing, you'd feel just as empty, but for a different reason. When you were 8 years old, doing nothing meant running around your yard or playing pretend for hours. Now, doing nothing means scrolling your phone for 3 hours straight, and then telling yourself that you're wasting your time and feeling guilty about it. Because part of growing up is realizing that you do have gifts, and you also have responsibilities, not just to other people, but to yourself as well. You owe it to yourself to do something with what you've got. But, and this is the part that I keep coming back to, I still think there's a piece of that childhood freedom that we can actually get back. It just doesn't come from ignoring everything that we want. It comes from letting go of the ego that we tie to all of it. When we were kids, we didn't have an ego yet. We didn't think that I deserve this amount of money, or I'm not good enough because I don't have the girl I want, or if I don't hit this goal, then I'm a failure. We didn't measure ourselves like that. But now, we measure absolutely everything, bro. It's like we've put a price tag on our worth. Like, I should be making this much by now, or I should have this many people wanting me. I should be living like these people on Instagram. And when the reality doesn't match that story, it really messes with us. It creates a sort of tension, and that quiet stress that never really goes away. So the closest we can get to that freedom again, that real, simple level of happiness, is to just kill off those parts of our ego. That doesn't mean you stop wanting good things for your life. It just means you stop letting your worth get wrapped up in them. It's realizing that at your core, none of that truly defines you. Because the crazy thing is, when you drop your ego about all that stuff, you actually get better at the things that you want to do. You get more productive, and you give more, and you connect better with people. It's like when you stop being so worried about whether you're good enough, you finally have the mental space to just be good. It's like this. When you were a kid building a world in Minecraft, you didn't care if it was the best world ever. You didn't compare it to your friend's server. You just built it because it was fun. And ironically, that's why you'd spend hours doing it. You were in that moment. Now, imagine doing life the same way. You're still working hard. You're still building something cool, but you're not tying your entire sense of self-worth to that final result. You're just doing it because it's meaningful, because you enjoy it, because that's what you've got in front of you right now. When you look at it that way, everything else flows through that moment. You'll work harder at your goals because you enjoy the process, not because you're terrified of falling short. You'll treat people better because you're not trying to prove something to yourself through them. You'll feel a little bit lighter because you're not dragging your ego around everywhere, trying to match some impossible version of yourself. And yeah, none of this is easy, and I don't want this to sound like some deep philosophical lecture, because it's really not that complicated. It's more of a reminder. Because even though we know this stuff, we forget. We get so wrapped up in who we think we're supposed to be that we lose the freedom just to be who we are. So I guess that's my point. You'll never see the world exactly like you did as a kid. But if you can let go of that constant measuring, that constant self-judgment, the little voice that tells you that you're not enough until you have X, Y, or Z, then maybe you can get a taste of that freedom again. Not in the same way, but in a way that works for who you are now. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's actually better. Because now, you got the chance to build something real. To put something out into the world. To share what you know. But you can actually do it with the same sense of play that you had when you were just some kid building castles in the backyard. So yeah, that's just been on my mind recently, and I hope you can take a thing or two from it.